LORRAINE Spencer here. This is the P.O.C. Pattern of Conduct, real-time documentation of the state of California's criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California in violation of existing federal law, that is 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is ongoing documentation that is specifically gathered following my release from kidnapping by this entity that was ceaselessly monitoring in violation of 18 U.S.C. and in violation of Title 15 and in violation of the Prison Rape Elimination Act, as I was subject to the same exact criminal pattern of conduct while kidnapped by this entity seeking to conceal this criminal system that I am documenting and publishing and exposing on the venue of the internet, where I am also subject to the criminal pattern of conduct, and understand that kidnapping is the pattern of conduct that is criminal obstruction of justice, as the entity seeks to avoid prosecution and to avoid documentation and exposure for engaging in this criminal system. The people of the state are the vicarious aspect of the entity. They are engaging in federal stalking as I am kidnapped by the state inside of the state facilities, all right? And they are fully engaging in kidnapping upon criminal summoning. So this is the this is the entity from beginning to the end engaging in the criminal acts of the federal stalking and the acts of criminal obstruction of justice. This is also documentation on the venue of the internet engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct via obstruction of justice, and this is in any way reducing or removing the ability to publish the ongoing documentation of the state's criminal pattern of conduct, which is waging an ongoing threat to my life as I remain subject to this criminal system. And this is the criminal pattern of conduct on the venue of the internet, okay? And that is the totality of what I have documented since release. I was kidnapped from June 18, 2021 from third-party facilitating venue of the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where the Ontario Police Department were monitoring, and this in conformity to the ongoing wealth of documentation that I have already published, specifically revealing the Ontario Police Department engaging in monitoring and kidnapping, which was via the assertion of a fictitious warrant pursuant to a fictitious prosecution. That is the people of the state of California v. LORRAINE Spencer, case number Mary Wendy Victor 2000640. I was subject to kidnapping pursuant to this fictitious prosecution, documentation on the facility cameras everywhere that I was inside of the facility of West Valley, located at 9700 Etiwana Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, California, and at the state facilitating venue of the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, located at 8303 Haven Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, and I was subject to federal stalking ceaselessly at the jail, at the courthouse, in the courtrooms, okay? The same exact pattern of conduct ceaselessly underway. The kidnapping serves obstruction of justice, and that this is kidnapping that I endured from June 18th, 2021 up until August 16th, 2021. This is the P.O.C. That's activity creation. What's that? Directly over this venue. There is no form. This is P.O.C. inside of the private space. That's the specs of the inside in order to monitor. This is 150 East Holt Boulevard. It's 8:03 a.m. Okay, this is the city of Ontario, 150 East Holt. This is P.O.C. That's documentation of sexual violence at the Ontario Public Health Clinics. The video captured at 150 East Holt is captured at 8:13 a.m., which will also be seen on the timestamp of that documentation. That is P.O.C. All right, 8:29 a.m. I did capture what is the real-time movement of the state's light source, as it's keeping it in perfect alignment with me as I travel from Ontario to Upland. And you are looking at what is the stalking conduct and the act of terrorism, as the Upland police, who are already stalking in relevant position, visibly appear as they are in relevant position as I get out of the vehicle. That is an intentional act to engage in terrorism, as they all are monitoring what I'm documenting as I go from Ontario to Upland. So I'm just speaking to the intent and the outward conduct of demons. That's what is relevant to that while they're engaging in terrorism. This is the communication of a threat by that entity as it's monitoring the documentation serving its prosecution, and what is criminal defamation and harassment by third-party group stalker Tracy Banks, as she is engaged in P.O.C. She is engaged in terrorism with the Upland Police Department. Clearly the state is keeping its fake son over me in her vehicle while she is repeatedly engaged in federal stalking. That's the substance of everything that I document. She's in relevant position. It's not changing because she's driving the car. It is the facilitating venue, that is her vehicle, that she is subjecting me to that life-threatening harm and engaging in criminal defamation as she does so with the Upland Police Department. So I do want to document third parties that are at 204 North Euclid Avenue, where the state's fake son is stationary, as I capture on video at that time. And it is 8:30 a.m. right now. And that is P.O.C. I'm going to document license plate. All right, it is 8:32 a.m. I'm going to document third parties. Paper plate AX82H26. That's paper. Third parties monitoring via 7-Eleven. That's a facilitating venue where they're maintaining presence under the state's light source and in directed light. 8VKT474. Alrighty, I did capture documentation of the state flying over in helicopter, and what I am reminding everyone as you're witnessing documentation of the people of the state, which is what Tracy Banks represents, as she is speaking out of her mouth what is intended to be criminal defamation. That's a pattern of conduct by demons who are hostile to being documented. That's the P.O.C. That's exactly what fictitious prosecution Mary Wendy Victor 2000640 is all about, which she specifically is Tracy Banks, but understand that she represents the people. So as she participated in a fictitious prosecution, as she participated in what is kidnapping with the state, as you participate in that criminal act, with the criminal motivation of what is obstruction of justice, sitting in that courtroom, acting with those officers of the court who are engaging in the act of kidnapping, as is thoroughly documented and published. She is engaging in the documented act on behalf of that entity as engaging in kidnapping. All right, which she has repeatedly engaged in acts of kidnapping, specifically with the Ontario Police Department. And out of the mouth of that demon, you are listening to what is intended to be defamatory speech, which is audible activity under the fake sun. What I also capture in video, and that's a substance of what she's saying. All right, and understand that's the behavior of demons. That's what you're dealing with. That's what you're going to create policy for. They have zero credibility, and that is established by the environment that they're in and their demonic behavioral pattern. All right, which is hostility, harassment, as you document them, as they engage in egregious criminal activity, just like I showed by the Upland Police Department, as I document, and the minions know exactly what I'm documenting. It's not a coincidence while you're crossing path into the fake sun and directed light is trailing behind your police vehicle. That is how demons conduct themselves. Criminal defamation out of the mouth of Tracy Banks is criminal defamation out of the mouth of that entity, and she is speaking on behalf of every private and or commercial actor. The people of the state are the people of the state in every way in which they engage in that criminal system. All right, so you are talking about the ongoing established pattern of conduct as demons engage in crossing path, and that which is not sunlight, which I have repeatedly day in and day out documented in different cities, by the way, including where I stand right now, where the state's fake sun is documented remaining over my head. All right, and then you have what is the intentional defamatory act, which is in no way helping the people. This is blatant establishment. I've already established the P.O.C. So you are witnessing what is that necessary policy that I advocate. Out of the mouth of a third-party group stalker is defamation, but there is no grounds for it, but for documentation, there's no grounds for it. Ordinarily, however, this is how the pattern of conduct goes. Seeking to establish some sort of issue, something being wrong, as you document, as you are witnessing, or as you try to report, the ordinary target individual, the criminal activity of a public entity, right? And so, but for documentation, you would be listening to that which is the defamatory speech of a third party, the demon-possessed one who is stalking you, all right, and doing so in an unfathomable manner with the police that are driving around who are stalking in relevant position while that fake sun is remaining over you, all right, while that which is not sunlight surrounds all around you, all right, while the demon-possessed are repeatedly crossing path with you, all right, and then you are listening to the audible activity that comes out of her mouth. That's a psychopath. All right, and that is, understand, that psychopath is personified as you're looking at what is stalking with light. That is the same psychopath that I'm documenting day in and day out, whether they are identified by FedEx or as FedEx, or whether they are identified as Tracy Banks, okay? You're talking about the indiscriminate demon possession, and they are engaging in a satanic targeting system. And that is ongoing direct evidence. The state flying around in a helicopter, that is a hallmark. You literally have what is the presence of law enforcement, the state flying around in relevant position in helicopter, the state with its fake sun directly over my head, and impossible light activity, and what is criminal defamation. These are the hallmarks. That's harassment. That's under the umbrella of harassment. That is literally the hallmarks as I document the state's fake sun remaining over the vehicle, remaining over me, remaining at 150 East Holt Boulevard while they enter inside of the private space to engage in that demented pattern of conduct, all right? And it's going from 150 East Holt in conflict with the long documented conduct of that state's light source, which is nowhere near Upland. It's nowhere near being this over the 7-Eleven. It's clearly over my head where I am in the city of Ontario, wherever I am in the city of Ontario. All right, and so this is the audacity of what are demons who out of their mouth speak that which they shall be prosecuted for corporately. Right, that is the government that's engaging in that criminal defamatory act. All right, that is the government that's engaging in terrorism as a unit. and doing so via law enforcement. Those are demon-possessed law enforcement officers engaging in the outward demonstration of demon possession. Directed light trailing behind the vehicle, pay attention. Sunlight is not sparking off of the sidewalk and trailing behind a vehicle. That's exactly what I document third parties as doing day in and day out, all right? That's what the Upland Police Department do, and understand that those are demons that are hostile, know exactly what I just documented. And how do demons conduct themselves? They engage in a false sense of arrogance and rebellion, and provide more documentation against the entirety of the entity. It's foolishness. It's the destructive conduct of psychopaths, okay? That's exactly how psychopaths conduct themselves. I want to document 8AWG559. This is a white female monitoring with minor children. Directed light streaming across the asphalt, just like I've shown at the same intersection of C and Euclid. All right, that's exactly what she's doing, and they are all doing the same thing, but I want to specifically document another demon, MALICUS. All right, doing the same thing, repeating it. That's how demons do. They hear one and then they engage in it again. They are engaging in what is terrorism and sexual violence, in doing so with minor children in the vehicle while they're monitoring with the government. All right, so it is currently 8:41 a.m. and that is the substance of the videos that I documented. And that is the substance of the audible activity that Tracy Banks is creating. You're witnessing what is hostility to documentation, which is in no way slowing down the prosecution and the accumulation of that ongoing evidence to prosecute that entity. Everything that comes out of her mouth and any other third party and or state actor is serving to prosecute that entity because they are monitoring as one. That is why you are looking at that which is not the sun remain over the window, remaining directly in alignment with me through the window as I am traveling from one city to another, from one building to another, in direct conflict with the mounted documentation, by the way. Okay. And so that is speaking to the substance of what is the audible activity coming out of the mouth of Tracy Banks. Okay. That's actually fear. That's how Satan actually communicates. That this is fear. But like I said, the fear of what are the demon possessed who are engaging in egregious criminal activity, which they never anticipated would be exposed and rather, or documented, or for that matter, ever being prosecuted for, is in no way going to stop what is a necessary aspect of justice. And that is to create policy to stifle and silence every demonic method of this entity. And Tracy Banks exhibited it. Tracy Banks is thoroughly documented inside of that private residence, which is Woodside Senior Apartments, which is not a private residence where this pattern of conduct is underway. It's called a third-party facilitating venue, all right? That is enveloped within the venue of what is Woodside Senior Apartments, where federal stalking was underway. And just as you saw the helicopter documentation of the state flying over my head, over the apartment building at Woodside Senior Apartments, the state keeping directed light inside of that venue, which is filled with directed light. And I have also captured what is the state's fake sun over that apartment building, which it remained for the duration of the day, all day long while I was inside of that venue, of that apartment number 51, and remained, this is the conduct of what I've shown the state engaging in, acting like the sun is rising over whatever building I'm in and setting over whatever building I'm in. That's exactly what I documented, for example, at Economy Inn, all right? I've documented this consistently, but most vivid and and I have ample documentation of it, is the state going from, for example, Economy Inn, where you're looking at in the morning, the sun is supposedly rising right there where the pool is, and setting right on Euclid Avenue, remaining over that venue, in other words, and over the room where I was in, whatever room I was in at that venue, for the duration of the day. Okay, so you have that's exactly what the state was engaging in, flying over in helicopter, stalking by aircraft. All right, engaging in monitoring with the people of the state, engaging in sexual violence, and engaging in criminal summoning. All right, and Tracy Banks is always engaged in a pattern of criminal defamation. This is one who is ill-suited for prosecution, and out of the mouth of an ignoramus that happens to be demon-possessed, you will prosecute for that audible activity. It is 8:44 a.m. and that's P.O.C. I'm going to document the demon-possessed stalkers that are doing so with minor children, patrolling with the state. State's fake sun is, as I've already shown, over the First United Methodist Church, where I showed the state's fake sun is right there hovering over me at the corner, and you're looking at what are third parties while directed light is all over the asphalt, that which is clearly not sunlight. That's what they are doing with minor children in the vehicle. Going to any preschool, going to any school is no form. You're seeing how the system is systematically in operation and how psychopaths do so with children to boot. All right. And in the same way that you would remove them from the ability to contribute to the delinquency of any minor child, whether they are demon possessed or not, you're talking about prosecuting an entity for engaging in all the criminal activity that they do and the ways that they do it. And doing so, thinking that they are acting with impunity. All right. You prosecute, you punish for that. All right. That's a matter of justice. And this is 7XVC358 MAMACUB. 8AWG559.
State's fake son is directly over the preschool where they are taking these minor children, and they are monitoring while also simultaneously engaging in terrorism and sexual violence in concert with the state that is molesting with directed light, which is exactly what I've already shown you on video at that same intersection. 7LLF348, 8TZF181, 8PVG 843. What is the direct evidence against those monitoring with minor children? 7XGD723, 8BPH625, RAYNICI, or RAYN1C1. All right. So you're looking at what is operation. Also, let me teach you about malice and the demon possessed. Aside from what is criminal defamation, by the way, that's malice. You're talking about, and it's audible activity. All right. You're talking about engaging in operation of the communication device. And how is she doing so? This demon-possessed stalker is doing so. She's taking a picture of her little minion and doing so under the fake sun. All right. While they all patrolled right here to park by me and engage in molestation with directed light. Those are demons. They're demons that happen to have reproduced. Okay. They are a harm to society. They're a harm to the little minions that they're teaching how to engage in terrorism. MACUB is a psychopath. She's a demon-possessed stalker, engaging in terrorism and doing so under the fake sun. All right? And doing so, understand, she's this one and the same with Tracy Banks. I just happen to know Tracy Banks' name. Out of all of their mouths, they engage in what is criminal defamation while federal stalking is underway in that environment, which is absolutely unnatural, and engaging in terrorism with the Upland Police Department. It's one entity. All right? So you're talking about the foolishness of providing ongoing documentation against itself as Tracy Banks. And I'm going to continue to use her as an example because that is the asininity that I continue to document. All right. So out of their mouths, they speak that, and you're looking at what is the blatant direct evidence against the entirety of that entity. 6WHH681. There is no credibility out of the mouth of a third party. None whatsoever. None. It's audible activity. And you prosecute while you want to defame as your audible activity. You want to harass as your audible activity. You want to terrorize in doing so with your audible activity, making any threats. You're representing the government as you're making a threat of harm. And why? Because you're hostile, because I'm exposing you as the stalker that you are. On behalf of a government, you're an unprecedented level of a stalker. And understand this is both demonic possession. All right, this is a demonic entity speaking as one. All right, you're talking also a public entity speaking as one. The state of California is speaking to the people of the state. The state of California is terrorizing. The state of California is stalking. The state of California is engaging in ongoing sexual violence. Egregious, unprecedented level of sexual violence. 8NML008. It's 8:48 a.m. And just like I captured it right again, as you're looking at what is demon possession, the malice with which the people engage, taking a picture of her minion child under the fake sun. All right, while they use those minions, those little children, as form while they drive by under that which is not the sun, in the shade, by the way, at the same intersection where I've already documented that ongoing directed light, which is not sunlight. Right? This is what I'm saying there. That's why I just keep the camera on Tracy Banks' face, and you witness what is evil. That's wicked. All right, you're witnessing demonic activity. That's what you're witnessing. That's a psychopath. And she's engaged in documented acts of kidnapping on a repeated basis. And her telling me that she's not going to pick me up, understand she is engaging in threatening my life, and she's actually putting me in a position to be subject to more and more monitoring as she patrols around under the state's fake sun. She drives deliberate routes in order to make sure that the state's fake sun gets to whatever position that it's going. She drives long ways around. I tell her to make a right turn. She'll ignore that turn and go the long way around. She stalls when I say I want to go somewhere. She acts in concert with the entity. All right. She is engaging in the blatant ongoing threat to my life. And understand, as I documented that video, the Upland Police Department, with simultaneity to my exiting the vehicle, crossing paths just to drive through the parking lot under the fake sun is an act of terrorism while these demons are hostile to being documented. And I want to be clear, pay attention to the directed light trailing behind that car. First of all, sunlight does not trail behind a vehicle like that. Sunlight does not bounce like a laser off of one surface to the other, which you're also seeing as I document the third parties at this 7-Eleven, all right? And the actual sun is not remaining stationary present over 150 East Hall as I'm documenting, all right? Remember, I've come from the museum at different times, and where's the state's fake sun every time I go? It's right there and remaining. As I go from there, then I go to B&G Plaza. That's not even the direction of coming north up Euclid Avenue. And then you have what is documentation of criminal defamation out of the mouth of a hostile demon, all right? She's hostile to it. All right, understand her, she doesn't even have any form. She's not even one who you can sympathize with as even acting like she is a mother, because you have what is her knowledge of the fact that the police engaged in repeated acts of illegal kidnapping and that which is not even a real case, trying to create that which is, well, let me finish that. Trying to create that which is the creation of a Penal Code Section 1370 case, which doesn't exist. That was an act of criminal obstruction of justice. So you have Tracy Banks, who can't even act like she is an actual mother, all right? That's just a title. You're not defined by what you call yourself. You're defined by what you do, all right? And she has engaged in the criminal elements of monitoring and criminal defamation. And not only that, why is it bothersome to her if I hold my video up and record the sky? Why is she annoyed with that? Because it's ongoing evidence of what is federal stalking that is directly incriminating to her. Because I was subject to that inside of her apartment. I'm subject to it while I'm inside of her car. She is prosecuted as I document third-party group stalker with license plate 8TTJ475. They're one entity. That's why that demon-possessed stalker is annoyed and engaging in criminal defamation, which is absolutely unfounded, even under ordinary. In their alternate universe, if you want to separate my documentation from that, what is she upset about? What is implicating my mindset as I'm documenting the police after they have engaged in repeated acts of kidnapping? Anyone with any sort of common sense, you don't even have to have a law degree, would document the presence of law enforcement as they remain around you after being kidnapped several times and them having no right to ever touch you or arrest in the first place. All right, but you have the outward animosity. That's called harassment. That's called terrorism. That's called criminal defamation while she is engaging in federal stalking and she's acting on behalf of the entity. In other words, I'm going to document and I'm going to prosecute 7-Eleven, 76, Arco Gas, Amazon Prime, FedEx, USPS. All right. I'm going to prosecute every police department agency that I've already documented. I'm going to prosecute every third party group stalker that I've already documented. I'm going to prosecute every third party in-state facilitating venue. They are one entity for the idiocy that came out of her mouth, and she does not even have any plausible form. Both in their twisted universe where you want to disregard monitoring and in the reality where federal stalking is underway by the demon-possessed, she has no form. And that was blatant documentation of a demon-possessed stalker who is calling herself a mother. She is not a mother. She's engaged in ongoing terrorism of one who she bore. All right, let me be clear about something. The reality of that which is the demonic, that demon possession over her has no affection toward me, all right? You're talking about that which is satanic, and that has no regard for Erica Lorraine Spencer. In the natural, in the flesh, she refers to herself as my mother, all right, because she engaged in the act of reproduction. But understand that even contrary to what you may believe or think, blood is not more substantive than actual spirit and the reality of that spirit that consumes you. And understand that demonic possession has no regard for me, and that is what is defining her actions, and not who she wants to be regarded as. Okay, because even with regard to blood, understand no true blood, no genuine love that you have for your blood relatives would result in her documented conduct. None of it. None of it. All right. She has zero form. That's what I mean. Zero. And I'm going to prosecute the entity for everything that comes out of her mouth. She represents the people. She's a third party whose name I know. And under the fake sun, the asinine act of engaging in more documentation with which I will prosecute the entirety of the entity. She's terrorizing with the Upland Police while they cross path, and deliberately so. And that is in response to, that is hostile to that direct evidence that I just documented while the state's fake son remains in the vehicle in the window of the vehicle as I'm transported from 150 East Hall Boulevard, where they're engaging in sexual violence. They want to enter inside of the bathroom and create activity and stalk in the path. All right, that's a sex offender. You're already a sex offender. Demons are monitoring, maintaining presence, engaging in their little demonic pacing all around, all right, while they're monitoring what's going on in the bathroom, which they know what is going on. The same state that you see while I'm at 7-Eleven flying around in a circle in a helicopter and keeping its fake sun, that's exactly what they are doing while I'm in the restroom and my panties are down and my genitalia is exposed, and they are corporately engaging in knowledge of what I am doing in that private space. And then you have the demon-possessed stalker that enters inside of the bathroom that wants to go further, engage in affirmative conduct, and create activity such that everyone in relevant position outside of that bathroom, outside of the building in relevant position can monitor. All right, that's the reality of what they're doing. They are very violent sex offenders. All right, and everything that I documented outside of the state's fake son, you're talking about that which is icing on the cake, because I've already established that the state is stalking with son. This is what is speaking to the hostility that's communicated out of her mouth. She is creating audible activity while she's posing that which she thinks is a threat, that she's not going to come pick me up. She's engaging in threatening my life on a daily basis, including this morning while I'm capturing the fake son and the Upland Police crossing path visually with the intent to communicate a threat. License 39304M2. 5UJS 966. All right, she is that is hostility by a demon-possessed stalker. Okay, so you're talking about the reality of what is going on, and I'll break it down for you, and that's exactly what it is. And everything she's saying, she's doing it in front of the fake son. All right, that's what you're going to prosecute for, and you're going to see. You're already looking at it, but understand at prosecution, you will see to every single necessary aspect of the psychopath as they speak, the knowledge that they have as they speak and act. All right, the criminal motivation behind what they're doing as they speak and act. All right, that's the totality, the dual purposes of what I'm doing. 8 DER 852, and that is P.O.C. It's 8:56 a.m. State's fake son remains over 204 North Euclid Avenue. All right, and remember where I'm at the same time where I documented going down Foothill Boulevard, and I'm at the Starbucks that's inside of Mulberry Plaza while the state is flying over in plane and helicopter. The state's fake son is directly over that plaza and remaining over my head while I'm in that clearly distinct location. And that is just one example, okay? That's just one example. I've already established that the state is stalking with light. All right, and then you're going to prosecute for that which is intended to be defamatory out of the mouth of a demon-possessed stalker identified as Tracy Banks. I'm not going to stop documenting. I don't care what your identity is. That's P.O.C. All right, I want to document the third parties that remain at the venue of the 7-Eleven. That's called audible activity, using a ladder to create noise in front of the entrance under the fake sun. All right, and let me get license 8NWL233. I think I already got 5UJS 966, 6E20008, and 8M91792. They're the ones using a ladder standing in front of the entrance, and they're on surveillance cameras as well. They're doing so under that which is the fake sun. 8WON428, 8WJP904. 8WBX215, 8FOM557. It is 8:59 a.m. License 8FRX114. All right, it's 9 a.m. on the dot. I just want to show you the movement from the state's fake sun as I'm on the property of the 7-Eleven, and as I'm standing on the property of the 7-Eleven. Let me get this license, 3NAU333. I am facing east as I'm standing in front of the 7-Eleven. I am now on the sidewalk walking down what is 9th Street, and the state's fake sun is no longer over the property of the 7-Eleven. All right, it's 9 a.m. in the morning. All right, license 5XPC118. And I just wanted to capture a video because I'm just punctuating what is a point, but that's, again, on a micro level. Every micro level is humongous for prosecution, nonetheless. 8EZC958, but I'm focusing on prosecuting those acts of terrorism that I documented this morning. 5F36499, 5F36498, excuse me. 2W. B800, 2WPP800. I can't really see that one that clearly. They're just engaging in patrolling, making a U-turn in a loud vehicle that's audible activity and relevant positioning. All right, in front of Molly Super, the creation of that demonic peculiarized light in relevant position. The white van that I've already documented in relevant position, creating peculiarized light on what is 9th Street. That is criminal facilitation, where the state's fake sun is documented literally over that venue at the same time. All right, that's P.O.C. I'm just speaking to the ongoing creation of these the elements while the people are engaging in demonic activity. Molly Super is a facilitating venue, peculiarized light being maintained in alignment to me at that venue right now. It is currently 9:03 a.m. 4PJR984. Light activity using this vehicle crossing path. Flashing lights on both sides. It's Upland Police Department. 1607198. And let me be clear, where the entity is monitoring, the Upland Police, or any police department, by the way, 8S1Z129 or 8SIZ129, any police department that is engaging in the pattern of conduct, let me be clear, any aspect of that law enforcement agency represents the same threat. All right, so while these the demons are aware, they're monitoring of the documentation, and, for example, send in relevant position, the same police department, and doing so via parking enforcement, that is not in any way lessening the threat. It's the same entity, it's the same demonic possession, it's the same act of terrorism, and doing so through what is parking enforcement. And let me be clear, the pattern of conduct is the presence of law enforcement, the group stalking conduct of law enforcement. Any aspect, any subsidiary, if you will, of law enforcement, including parking enforcement, including the police department, including CSI, 6W93940. It is the same agency, and there is no harmless aspect of that. Let me be clear. 8XNT872. And they are equally engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. And that is also relevant for what is the creation of policy. It's not some tangent, and it's not a deviation from that established pattern. Law enforcement engaging in federal stalking using any aspect of the law enforcement agency, any aspect, it is the presence of law enforcement, and that is the P.O.C. 36029T2. It's currently 9:05 a.m. State's fake sun, nowhere clearly over, nowhere possibly over, anywhere in Ontario as it's over my head, or anywhere on Foothill Boulevard in the city of Upland, as I intentionally documented. 8RFF212. All right, from 7:50 in the morning on Foothill Boulevard, nowhere possibly over what is that video that I'm capturing the Upland Police Department engaging in federal stalking. Driving past under that which is not the sun. Impossible to coexist with what is clearly the state's fake sun over me while I'm on Foothill Boulevard inside of the Upland the Upland Square Shopping Center on Foothill. I'm standing in front of what is the Starbucks inside of the Mulberry Plaza, the Uptown and Country Shopping Plaza. The state's fake sun is over there up at Foothill, maintaining central presence with me. It's not just present, stating that it's somewhere in the vicinity. No, the state is keeping its fake sun in perfect alignment with me. 7MJX737, and that is what I specifically documented, and I intentionally documented that. Okay, so that is the ongoing direct evidence, and as they engage in that, that's how demons behave. You can prosecute them based on their demonic behavior pattern, their inability to engage in any self-control. But you're talking about that which is obsessive. Stalking conduct is born of obsession, by the way. Stalking conduct is born of an unnatural tendency to engage in these compulsive type conduct. And you're talking about this which is rooted in demon possession. That's where this is coming from. And you're talking about demon possession acting over the people. But this people happens to be the people of the state of California, which is serving to create what is an understandable, a palatable legal construct, a legal framework in order to prosecute that which is rooted in demonic activity. And it is in no way impervious to prosecution because there is a legal framework, and that's what I'm revealing. But I'm not going to shy away from the reality and the fact that whether one wants to accept it or not, it really doesn't matter because it is what is terrorism. Whether you want to understand that stalking with light is demonic conduct, whether you want to digest that or not, it is born of demonic activity. That's demonic, that's satanic, it's demented. And it is serving a criminal purpose of federal stalking. The government is engaging in a federal stalking system in concert with the people of the state, as they are all engaging in what is stalking with light, and doing so in the methods that they have at their disposal. And that is the practicing of satanic activity. You have what is terrorism as that entity, that is that gang, all right, that unit engages in stalking together. The practicing of obsessive conduct, which is a direct threat to your life, and the practicing of what is terrorism by a public entity. 8LMT046, I believe. It is 9:08 a.m. and that's the substance of what I documented, and understand the significance of the elements of monitoring and how those same elements are always underway, and then how how that intersects with the criminal conduct that the entity engages in. You're talking about lawlessness that is being practiced by demons, lawlessness, and you're going to rectify that, okay? You're going to, in other words, put these demons in their place. And you can do so utilizing the law. And let me be clear, what I have clearly shown is the ongoing determination to engage in this criminal demented system. But you're talking about the creation of policy such that it is exposed where the government is engaging in such satanic conduct, which is shameful on a world stage in the United States of America, let alone in any country. But I want to be clear, the United States of America is in no way separate or superior, in my opinion, having firsthand documented what is, the heights of hypocrisy in this country, that it's happening on any avenue in the state of California, in the United States of America. That's an act of shame to the entire nation, all right? And this is what is demonic activity. This is contrary to how California would present itself and how it does present itself in commercials and on social media. Like California is the place to be. Understand, California, they are oppressed with demon possession. They are a demented people engaging in what is absolutely unnatural and abnormal conduct while they are targeting American citizens, and doing so in methods that they forethought were impossible to ever discern or prosecute or report, because the pattern of conduct is something that's supposed to, they engage in such psychotic methods of targeting that it is designed to be unfathomable, unbelievable, okay, but for documentation. All right. And but for the ability to not only discern, to create the legal framework and to document in order to show the necessity of that policy whereby you are prosecuting, you are fully capable of prosecuting, as you are dragging from what is that which is the demonic that you can't see, understanding that context, and you're dragging it into a court of law and via objective evidence that you can see and you cannot deny in that forum of federal court, where you will prosecute what is the demonic. That's exactly what you're doing. All right. But you're going to prosecute. How do you refer to that clinically? That's a psychopath. And that is a sex offender. All right. And that's not opinion. You're a sex offender while you are a stalker. This is established by the environment, and this is the absence of coincidence. This is the ongoing behavioral pattern of the psychopath that is stalking in a bathroom, maintaining knowledge of what you're doing. That's how you're able to stalk with activity. That's why you're creating artificial activity inside of that private space. All right. This is all indicated by the pattern of conduct. You're a sex offender, and then you go in and engage in further conduct, which is sexually motivated and predatory in nature, in order to continue that stalking activity, which is not done individually. It's done as an entity. This is an unprecedented level of sexual violence by that entity that then goes further. The sex offender that is stalking you then goes further and tries to defame you as you seek to report that sexual violence and that stalking conduct, which is a direct threat to your life, because it is the government itself acting in concert with every person in relevant position around you. That is the people of the state. All right. And that is a synopsis of what the state is engaging in, while it is stalking with that which is a light source. Cintas, C-I-N-T-A-S, and ALSCO, A-L-S-C-O. These are commercial companies using their vehicles under the fake sun, acting with Metrolink, who is audible activity while the people are patrolling, and maintaining relevant position, loitering in relevant position, that is Cintas, C-I-N-T-A-S. You have what is a synopsis of what the state is doing, all right? And that's just like a mini little breakdown. I have thoroughly documented every aspect. And then, so you're understanding not only the substance of what they're saying, i.e. Tracy Banks today, and you're looking at what is the face of a psychopath who thinks because she says it calmly, in the same way that a psychopath who's holding the hand of a child and cheesing from face to face under a fake sun while the state is stalking and hovering over me in planes and helicopters, that it is in any way persuasive. And then you are also, you would necessarily have to disregard the long documented pattern of conduct, all right? And this one in particular, Tracy Banks, I mean, she's going to be specifically prosecuted for directly engaging in repeated acts of kidnapping and criminal summoning while federal stalking is underway. She is a sex offender that has been engaged in this for years, criminal facilitation of that sexual violence. This is wickedness at its core, and it is called Tracy Banks, and that's the reality. I don't have to, you see that I'm very tolerant. I don't have to engage in any exaggeration. I'm not going to lessen or water down the reality of her conduct. I am reporting it, and I'm going to prosecute her for it. And the entity is going to be prosecuted hand in hand, because they are one and the same. All right. And so you have what is revealing that which is a psychopath, because you're talking about in the natural Who does that to their own quote unquote family? I'll tell you who does. This is demonic activity at its core. And that is a psychopath. All right. That is a psychopath actually with no plan. So you're talking about literally the default script is to try to defame the one who is documenting you when you are literally surrounded. All right, you're surrounded and you are literally in that environment. And as you are speaking, whatever is speaking out of your mouth, you're going to be prosecuted as you're speaking in that environment, and everybody else around you is going to be prosecuted as well. This is the reality of that policy. This is what happens when the government engages in monitoring. All right, and these are the heights of that prosecution, which were never fathomed. Yes, you can prosecute and you shall prosecute every facilitating venue. While they want to engage in and entertain that demonic system, they want to engage in terrorism, in other words, and doing so under their company name. So you're going to associate that company name with what it's practicing of terrorizing American citizens, stalking American citizens, okay? Because you are not existing in isolation and within your First Amendment rights of being a company located at whatever address, because you are acting in concert with the state that is stalking, that is engaging in federal stalking and monitoring and terrorism. You are thereby a stalker. All right. The state is present through you. You are giving presence to that state. You are a stalker. You're a sex offender. You're a kidnapper. All right. You are a terrorist. And that's how that goes. And this is the prosecution of that entire entity. And you can prosecute from the top down. All right. For everything that comes out of their mouth, everything that they're doing while they're engaging in that pattern of conduct, including holding the hands and facilitating the delinquency of minor children, regardless of the fact, and this is the reality of what I'm exposing, minor children, this is no exception to what is demon possession. They are engaging in that same, and I have documented minions, and this is the use of that system while they are practicing, the state is practicing demonic activity and convinced that they'll get away with it. They'll send in their little 5-year-old kid that is engaging in the demonic behavioral pattern. All right, so I'm witnessing little minions engaging in that demonic conduct that is accomplishing federal stalking. All right. In doing so, they do so thinking that they're going to get away with it because it's a child. Oh, you can't document a child. You can't prosecute a child. This is the malice of the people. All right. And so this is serving to speak to education. This is relative. This is very important. Understanding demonic activity, understanding how Satan himself, whether you want to deny it or not, Satan is not a fallacy. Satan is very real. All right. Satan operates over people. You're looking at the person physically and you're witnessing what is the operation of Satan as you witness their conduct, what they're doing. All right. And I'm also speaking to what is that demonic revelation as I'm speaking to the inspiration while they engage in the criminal elements, their knowledge as they are doing what they're doing. All right. This is the demonic behavioral pattern. This is what stalking with audible activity is about. This is what stalking with light is all about. All right. This is what stalking in the path is all about. All right. 9:16 a.m. That is P.O.C. State's fake son remains over right in perfect alignment with me where CINTAS, C-I-N-T-A-S, is loitering in relevant position in the parking lot. I see saloon and sports bar across, I'm looking at 247. So that will be 247. I'm at the intersection of 1st and 9th in between C Street and 1st Avenue. So in between C Street and 9th Street at 1st Avenue. And this is where the state's fake son is. Just like I've shown where I'm in the parking lot adjacent to that plaza, Dance Dynamics and Buddha's fat spot, or that little plaza area where the state's fake sun is in the morning as I move that direction. I've documented this heavily already. This is where the state is keeping its fake sun right now, far from where I captured it, adjacent to, not adjacent to, directly above that minion that was using her communication device. That's what you're witnessing. And what is her form? That you're going to be distracted because she's taking a picture of her daughter. That's supposed to be disarming. That's the distraction. That's how demons engage in the P.O.C. That's why you're going to focus on the conduct. This is the operation. This is the ordinary conduct. This is the rudimentary breakdown of demons and the conduct of demons. All right. And those are psychopaths with their little children in tow under the fake sun, molesting and terrorizing with directed light in concert with the state, and doing so while I capture the state's fake sun over that First United Methodist Church building. State's fake sun nowhere over that church building anymore at that corner. The state's fake sun is right over this parking lot that I'm standing in front of. All right. And that's P.O.C. It's 9:18 a.m. I want to get this license plate 8WRM623 in case I didn't read that one already. 7R90725. Stalking in the parking lot. 4HHR497. That was her closing her door. She's under the fake sun. 6WCL765. 5PZU491. 7EKJ962. A group stalker turns on their turn signal and their high beams at the same time. That's the creation of light activity. It is 9:18 a.m. and they enter inside of that same parking lot. Frontier Communications is crossing path at 9th Street and 1st right now. That is P.O.C. All right, crossing path 7C 91969. 5WPT 909. 7SHF 552. 8CZ0084, HSGRCE, and while they drive by, flashing of light, just appearing in the atmosphere. Those are demon-possessed stalkers engaging in acts of terrorism. Just flashing light. I showed you where I'm standing underneath the tree in the shade, and flashing of light appearing while they drive by. That's a concerted activity of the people of the state. And the state does the same thing while I'm inside of the vehicle, like I'm documenting while I'm inside of that vehicle. And like I've already documented 2019, 2020. This is what I've been documenting. The state aims directed light inside of that vehicle, moving it all around, molesting the entirety of my person while the people of the state patrol as one. This is the practicing of demonic activity, and it is sexual violence while the state touches with its engineered light, all right? While stalkers cross path, including the United States Post Office, 0213406. That's driven by a white male with heavy facial hair. He's got on dark sunglasses. It is 9:26 a.m. All right, patrolling. License plate 5ZMM943. So as you can hear in the background, I'm reviewing a video actually. And as I am, that is engaged in operation on my communication devices. The demons are patrolling, that is driving back and forth on the street next to me, right in front of me, relevant positioning. And just as I state, the state was creating flashing of light. As that demon that drives by through the alley right next to me and directed light sweeping across the brick wall as though sunlight, while it's hitting, the state's fake sun is behind that vehicle. And you're looking at what is directed light on the brick wall. 6FMV290. A demon drives down the same alley as I speak about it, okay? That's P.O.C. License 8NEB214. And so what you have is directed light. That's directed light that's flashing as they're driving by, which none of this is sunlight, okay? This is nothing far-fetched or deep whatsoever while I'm describing the light activity. It's absolutely abnormal, and it is speaking to the demon that is operating that vehicle, okay? The absence of normalcy in that environment and the stalking conduct that they're engaging in. So while I'm in operation of my communication device, this is as with simultaneity to that with knowledge. These demons know exactly what I'm doing on my phone, just like the Upland Police Department did, and they drove by under the fake sun that was at that time over the 7-Eleven, okay? It no longer is, and that was the act of terrorism by law enforcement, who are demon-possessed stalkers engaging in and facilitating federal stalking in concert with the people of the state, hostile to that video as I captured from the city of Ontario to the city of Upland, where it remained over my head and moved from 7-Eleven to the First United Methodist Church, where those demon-possessed stalkers were using their children as a means of form for stalking in the path, and doing so under the fake sun, which is clearly over that building, which I show. State's fake sun no longer over there, and that is what they are doing while you can hear my video, so I just want to let you know what I'm doing, and that's called stalking in the path. They're while I'm using my phone and they're crossing path, engaging in ongoing stalking. This is obsessive stalking conduct that they have. And so you prosecute with regard to, and let me be clear, under existing federal policy, it already calls for federal prison. It already calls for what is the inclusion of the axiomatic questioning of the mental stability of one engaging in federal stalking. That is, multiplied, where you're talking about the demon possessed, and that's the reality of the system of federal stalking that the state is operating, both by state actors and by the people of the state. This is demon possession, and this is born of, which is an unnatural and a supernatural, if you will, with regard to the demonic aspect as they are engaging in stalking corporately. License 6Z10770. And this is what you're paying attention to is, like I said, that ongoing indication. It's literally as I tell you, they engage in it, and I think this is under the false premise that I'm not even going to provide, because there is no valid argument there. But usually you see how I argue both sides, because I already know I can argue both sides. If there was a plausible argument, there does not exist one. As I literally speak about something, you have what are the people of the state, and these are demons that are engaging in corporate knowledge of every word that I utter, down to my bodily functions. This is how closely demons are paying attention to everything that's going on. They are crossing path in that environment, and doing so with knowledge of what I'm doing. And understand, you're going to take that into the private space. That's what they're doing with regard to the private space. That's why you need policy to specifically address what is the sex offender as they're engaging in a demonic system. So anyway, as I'm speaking about this alley, that the group stalker drives by and directed light is hitting the brick wall as though sunlight is bouncing off of the driver's side of that vehicle, whereas the fake sun is behind that vehicle. You have what is a group stalker that immediately crosses path and drives down that same alley, and doing so in that same unnatural environment. I am revealing what is the ongoing knowledge in real time in the absence of coincidence, and these are demons. These are very, very disturbed people, okay? And you have what is the absence of coincidence as they engage in that, and I have repeatedly pointed that out. As I document something, you'll have another demon that will go in and repeat it in real time as I speak of it. That is the knowledge that they have with regard to the documentation, and that is a pattern in and of itself. As you document the pattern of conduct, which I've also spoken of, the state increases that activity. That's demonic, all right? Repeating that which I am speaking of, which they have knowledge of, that is demonic. And that's what that third party that I documented engaged in. And it is the absence of coincidence where you're documenting federal stalking. I'm just speaking to, it's an ongoing example of their knowledge, and that is revealing further the psychopath, okay, that is operating over them. And you're talking about demon possession. So this is a demonic spirit that is operating over a people and a public entity that is acting vicariously through the people of the state who are operating under this demonic entity, okay? It is 9:34 a.m. and that's P.O.C. I just wanted to be clear the significance of what they're doing. 548NY handicap as I'm in operation of my communication device. So as I start watching the video, they start driving by more frequently, okay? As I end my podcast recording, then a car will cross path, okay? They do so pursuant to what I'm doing as they're driving by, as they're entering a parking lot, as they're getting out of their car, closing the car, everything. And that is the deliberate maintenance of that activity. All right, that's the centrality, the center focus. That is the one who is subject to this targeting system. All right, so they are engaging in ongoing stalking with everything that they are engaging in. All right, it's 9:34 a.m. Let me get this license plate, 7YWB094. And they are also revealing their own secret, because this is that which is a prosecution that serves to reveal psychopaths who pose a danger to society as they are engaging in terrorism, and revealing that which they count on remaining a secret, and that is demon possession. And that is clinically referred to as what is a psychopath. Okay, I just want to be clear the reality of their condition, and what is necessarily the case when you're engaging in this, which is a satanic system, by the way. So I am revealing both what is a condition that needs to be addressed, that needs to be exposed, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm also revealing what is the criminal activity by those of that condition in concert and on behalf of a public entity, okay, that is facilitating that satanic system. It's 9:35 a.m. That's P.O.C. All right, 548NY handicap as they are now patrolling in the opposite direction, that is driving on First Street in relevant position, crossing path under the fake sun. Doing so in the street where the state's fake sun is over that parking lot, and there is no vantage point where any light is going to create flash photography type activity. That's terrorism by that handicap 5482Y, or I'm sorry, I documented, this is a white SUV, the license plate that I correctly recited, all right? They just cross path right now and flashing of light while they do so, crossing path again. And that is the same license plate that I already documented about 5 to 7 minutes ago. They were driving what is north on First Avenue where I'm at, and they just cross path right now driving south on First Avenue. It's a handicap license plate, and this is the repeating of that same specific one. I just want to document that one. Again, they're acting as an entity, but I'm specifically identifying that one and engaging in what is a specific act of terrorism while flashing of light just appears out of nowhere while they're driving path, that's called crossing path, in that environment. And that is a concerted conduct of the people in the state. This is demon possession, all right? This is how demons engage in that targeting system, and it is engagement in the criminal elements of monitoring. All right, but it is revealing what are psychopaths. These are demons that surround engaging in that conduct together. All right, license plate, again, driving what is north on First Avenue. It is 8RFF212. All right, and so as that vehicle with the handicap license plate that I have already recited, and just cross path again, that you have the appearance of what's flashing of light. All right, so while I'm standing here looking at my phone, and that's how they're crossing path while I'm reviewing my videos that I documented that I'm going to publish. And you have what is crossing path because they're monitoring on the venue of the internet. They're monitoring via communication devices, and doing so as they're creating light. They're stalking in the path pursuant to what I am doing on my phone, on the internet. And you have what is the manifestation of flashing of light, just substantial flashing of light. That's called stalking with activity. First of all, you're listening to Metrolink. You're listening to plane engines that are being sounded over my head. and you're listening to that group stalker that uses their car horn. I intentionally stopped speaking because I want you to hear the plane engines. That demon is stalking, paying very close attention to me. And as I stop speaking and I turn my head to the left so that you can listen, they use their car horn to stalk with activity. These are demons that are surrounding. And like I said, every car door, every engine rev, both that is actually occurring and that which the state engages in just playing a tape of noise. All right, that's a psychopath. All right, and everything that you are hearing, literally, as I just record what's going on, everything, including inside of a venue, when you're hearing talking, you're hearing people walking by, you're hearing they're maintaining activity. They're all focused on the one person that is subject to that system. And those are psychopaths that surround engaging in stalking in that manner, and that obsessive focus on one individual that is subject to that targeting system. And while you have the use of a car horn with simultaneity to my turning my head and stopping to speak, that's called stalking with activity. That's the demonic behavioral pattern. It's 9:45 a.m. and that's P.O.C. I just want to document that actor as monitoring and engaging in an act of terrorism, flashing of light just appearing while this group stalker driving in on the same street in the same direction. 7RGG065 in U.S.C. crossing path again, 0213470. That's a demon, directed light on the trees and on the building while they're driving what is south on First Avenue. The state's fake sun is hitting the passenger side of that vehicle. That's impossible light. That's the same thing that happened with the vehicle that drives down the alley next to me. And directed light is hitting the brick wall that is on the same side of the driver's side where the state's fake sun is behind their car. This is demonic activity, and that's ongoing documentation of demonic activity by the United States Postal Service. And these are demons that, again, they're not only terrorists and demon-possessed psychopaths that are stalking and monitoring. You're talking about knowledge of the conduct that is being documented. So you're not only going to prosecute for that demented system, you're going to prosecute for the knowledge that they have while they engage in that demented system. Right. Those are very, very dangerous actors. All right. That are just wearing specific uniforms. And it's a matter of justice of identifying those commercial actors, those government actors, and those third party actors. It's 9:47 a.m. That's P.O.C. 59467N1 crossing path, driving south on First Avenue at 9:49 a.m. and you have the absence of any flashing of light. That is not saying that they're not monitoring. It's just speaking to the ongoing abnormality of this environment. That's never going to occur naturally anyway. 8MBN468, and the state is engaging in ongoing maintenance of activity based on what I am doing as I am doing it. So not only is this engagement and what is the elements of monitoring and its demonic activity, as they engage in those elements, the stalking with light conduct, that's demonic. All right. And it is speaking to the demons that surround engaging in federal stalking while they're all monitoring and centered on their use of technology. This is what this demonic activity is centered on. It is centered on technology. They're fixated on monitoring and stalking, and it is based on internet use and communication devices. And this is the main purpose of this demonic system. USPS crossing path again. Understand that's a demon, and the United States Post Service vehicles pacing back and forth. This is literally testimony of what is the demonic activity of the government. The United States Postal Service represents the state, and these are demons that are repeatedly crossing paths with knowledge of what I'm documenting. So anyway, you have what is the center focus and the use of technology while this monitoring system is underway. Demons relying on and centered on communication devices and internet use, which is, again, that's federal stalking, channels of interstate commerce. This demonic system is centered on what is federal stalking conduct, all right? And it is the government that's engaging in that and facilitating it. And I'm revealing what is that practicing of demented activity. And so as they engage in that, the state is engaging in the ongoing creation of such activities, such as one vehicle crossing path, and you're seeing a substantial directed light, or I'm reciting in real time as it's occurring, substantial directed light just appearing out of nowhere, and that this is not sunlight. This is absolutely abnormal and unnatural, and that's intended to terrorize, by the way. And you have what is another vehicle engaging in substantially similar activity. You're driving down the same street, driving in the same direction, under the same fake sun, because I have not moved. It's remaining where it is. And you have what is the absence of that flashing of light or that substantial light that you can see on the surfaces. This is the state that is creating activity based on what I do as I do it. And it is also with the intent to terrorize as they are monitoring. For example, I'm reviewing my videos that I'm going to publish today. ongoing compelling evidence serving to the direct prosecution. It's direct evidence against the people of the state. All right, remember, stalking with light is direct evidence. It's not circumstantial, because this is the state's pattern of conduct. And as you are engaging in federal stalking, light is an element of monitoring. The state is engaging in stalking with light because they are engaging in federal stalking, and stalking with light is demonic. These are the demon possessed that are engaging in federal stalking. Using light, utilizing light, stalking with light is direct evidence with regard to what is monitoring with communication devices. This is not circumstantial evidence. It is direct evidence. And it is also revealing demonic activity. All right? It is bringing into question every documented actor as they are revealed as engaging in this satanic system, including the United States Postal Service and UPS with license plate 82256G1. And while they cross paths, light behind me on the United First Methodist Church on the brick wall behind me in the shade, directed light appears on the sidewalk while they are driving on the wrong side of the road, by the way. They drive on the opposite side of the road, and that directed light appears on the brick wall behind me, okay? You're looking at the same thing with the Upland Police Department. I want to make sure you pay attention. The video that I capture as I'm at 204 North Euclid Avenue, you will see directed light trailing behind the police vehicle on the asphalt. That's directed light. That's exactly what the people are doing. The state changes the color. The state engages in moving it all around. The state does the same thing while I'm inside of the vehicle. Demon with 5EHE991. All right, that was UPS engaging in terrorism and United States Postal Service, and I'm ongoing documentation of the people. This is the ongoing mark of demon possession, and as demons are literally identifying themselves, this is literally, it's really essentially what you're witnessing. It's the people of the state. But the people of the state happen to be driving United States Postal Service vehicles. They happen to, and that is representative of the state. Exactly, that's a government actor. They happen to be driving Upland Police Department vehicles. That's a state actor. That's the government. All right, this is speaking to that which is public corruption, and that which is the actual source of this public corruption, which is demon possession, as federal stalking is underway. And that unnatural light activity, the unnatural environment that they're in, that's the evidence of their demon possession while they're engaging in that conduct, which is achieving federal stalking. All right, they are one and the same, and it is indicating that demon possession of every single last one, including that police department, including the United States Postal Service, UPS, SINTAS, ALSCO, and every other commercial actor that I continue to document. They are being driven by the demon possessed and associating those companies, those third parties and state actors with that demonic terrorism as it is underway. The use of the dumpsters to create audible activity in this stalker crossing path on the First Avenue, license plate 7ZTX759. That's P.O.C. It is currently 9:54 a.m. License plate at 9:58 a.m. That's an Asian female, 7JVY499. And as I showed in the video, my point is that the state, as I've already shown this, and the reason why I continue to say that is because this is nothing new, and I want it to be clear that this is nothing new that I've already demonstrated in my documentation. If anything else, I'm making it more of a poignant point as I go from place to place, and you're witnessing what is the pattern of conduct of stalking with light, the pattern of conduct of stalking in the path, the pattern of conduct of stalking with audible activity, and the hallmarks of that, the hallmarks of the state's pattern of conduct, which is the hallmark being the amplification of audible activity, the demonic behavioral pattern of simultaneity of activity creation based on what I do as I do it. All right, that's the demonic ability. All right, the closeness with which demons that surround and everything that you are hearing, down to the ignition of an engine, is used as a means and a method of audible activity creation while I am capturing that which is clearly not the sun. And as I'm showing based on the direction that I'm walking, because I've shown from both vantage points, coming from 11th Street, where I went to my formal private residence, which was nothing but a third-party facilitating venue where I was subject to federal stalking. Okay, you have what is the state's fake sun, as it is it is over the opposite side of the street, over the entrance of the library. And I want to show you double shadows right now. This is P.O.C. Hold on. All right, so what you're going to pay attention to is a video that I just captured. First of all, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I like to pay attention to that time. So much has happened at 10 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, and, well, at every time I've documented, but I'm capturing what is the impossibility of the state's fake sun, for example, being over my head, maintaining that center position in perfect alignment with me as I am at Ontario Obit Family Community Library. I'm capturing what is the state's directed light as my shadow is on both sides of me on the sidewalk while I'm walking in the shade on First Avenue in the city of Upland, where the state's fake sun is on in opposition to its documented presence over my head while I'm at the entrance of the Upland Public Library along Euclid Avenue. Contrary to that, at the same time, the state's fake sun is over my head while demon-possessed stalkers surround, nowhere near the entrance of the Upper Public Library. It's right here at the intersection of C Street and First Avenue, while I have my shadow on both sides of me. And that continued as I walked in the shade right now. So you're talking about the maintenance of an environment, and that maintenance of the environment is everywhere. It's speaking to, it's the presence of a demonic environment, and that is terrorism. All right? While you're maintaining that environment, stalking with the fake sun, that is called stalking with light, that is terrorism. And you literally have what is out of the mouth of a terrorist. That is what Tracy Banks is, engaging in what is defamatory, attempting to engage in defamatory speech, because like I said, no stalker can actually defame you. But you're talking about acting with impunity, a public entity that has yet to be exposed as a psychopath, sex offending stalker and kidnapper that it is, and engaging in that pattern of conduct. 7NLR416 and stalking with light, 6SDP799 at Molly Super. Okay, Molly Super is monitoring, and that group stalking with that license plate is stalking with light, just sitting at the vehicle at the corner, just keeping their reverse lights on. That's called stalking with light. 8DVM129, just like the white van was while I stood at the intersection of 1st and 9th Street. This is a demon-possessed stalker that is stalking with light, maintaining light. I just showed you video of my shadow on both sides. So this is the outward demonstration of demon possession. This unified demonic activity, indiscriminate of your specific identity, 8XES845. All right, this is P.O.C. License 4XYW806, 7EKD840. All right, I did want to capture that. 8FTP476, that practicing of demonic activity, that act of terrorism by that third party that I did get a close-up in video. Because I want you to be you need to understand, it does not matter whoever it is that you think you are. When you're talking about that which is demonic activity, there is no uniform, there is no title, there is no zip code, there is no location where that pattern of conduct is exempted. And that's exactly what I've shown. And so you're looking at somebody who, I think she has a fat ring on her finger. Let me be clear, you're witnessing demon possession. She is under the fake sun and she's engaging in the demonic stalking conduct of maintenance of light in the path. And I just showed you what is my shadow on both sides. Absolutely impossible light activity under that which is not the sun on the opposite side of this venue where the state keeps its fake sun all day long. FedEx monitoring with the state via helicopter, 8M37027. All right, I just wanted to capture that. You're talking for the second time this morning, the opposite of coincidence, all right? License 8RZG213, monitoring with the state that's engaging in a terrorizing act as the entity is engaging in federal stalking. That is the creation of audible activity under the fake sun in relevant position. This is the ongoing act of documentation of federal stalking and terrorism. These are the demon-possessed engaging in terrorism. All right, you prosecute the state and you prosecute the people as they act with the state. ODE202, that's an out-of-state license plate, 4PGE322, 4SVK711, 5WSB861, 7KKY233. 7AEG 086, 6NGJ 612, 8KJX 490, 1568493, and 7YGF 836. This Asian female, let me see. Can't really see her license plate. She's driving a white van. I can't see her license plate. This is California exempt, though. This is City of Upland, I'm sure. Yeah, this is City of Upland, license 1568493. 7YGF 836. I want to get this female with the light blue t-shirt on. She's crossing paths, studying her communication device under the fake sun. This is a demon-possessed stalker who is monitoring. They are fixated on technology as they engage in this demonic system. Understand she's in relevant position while the state is flying around me and amplifying helicopter activity as well. She's on the surveillance cameras of Upland Public Library. She's driving license plate 7WEE 694. 8MYK 462, 8RFF 433, 8RJA009. And I read this one yesterday, but I'll go ahead and read it again. 3GVB 370, 6W3622, 3W53622, 5RMT 650, 8FTP 476. And let me be clear where I'm at. The state facilitating venue of the Upland Public Library, the Upland City Hall. This is the Upland City Council, state facilitating venue. They are monitoring a relevant position. The state's fake sun is over this venue. This is where I'm at. The Upland Fire Department, the one that's on 2nd Avenue, San Bernardino County Fire Department. This is the Upland Fire Station. They are monitoring at the state facilitating venue where the state is flying around me for the second time this morning in relevant position under that fake sun and in directed light. All right, 8VPS 589 227UD. That's a handicap plate. 5JBE 906. Group stalking sitting in the car. Those are the same ones that are on camera all day long at the Upland Public Library and documented both daughter and mother engaging in sexual violence inside of the bathroom. That's license 5JBE 906. License 8RTK 553. 7MVE 024. 5KZS 957. All right, and as I walk past, all right, she's maintaining presence in the vehicle. As I walk past, that's when she gets out of the car to close the door. That's the maintenance of audible activity. That's the mark of demon possession. All right, and as I also turn around to walk, she walks to the trash can and dumps it. This is the maintenance of noise. That's all they're doing. All right, that's P.O.C. These are demons that are maintaining presence in a demonic environment. The fact that I just captured what is the presence of my shadow on both sides of me and that which is not the sun over my head, that is not separate, in other words, from the video and the documentation that I continue to document. That's not separate, and you're not going to forget that. That is the ongoing pattern everywhere that I go, by the way. All right? So you're talking about what is the ongoing direct evidence. Again, the Upland Police Department. I'm still documenting the Ontario Police Department. I'm documenting every venue that I've already been. This is documentation of the state, but as I document specific venues, I remain engaging and documenting them because you are witnessing what is the presence of stalking light as I revealed it in 2019, and you're looking at it, the ongoing stalking with light as I continue to document that. The impossibility of what the state is doing with light, even as I go outside of San Bernardino County into Los Angeles County, which I have done. And the state keeps its light source in perfect alignment. And even on the days when you're witnessing what is the subdued presence of the state's light source, what am I also capturing? The state is hovering over my head in plane and helicopter. That is the compensation, all right, with audible activity, making up for the absence of the state's fake sun, all right, while the people of the state and the state surround with their peculiarized light. So they are still stalking with light, and the state is engaging in the increase in audible activity. This is why you have on those quote-unquote cloudy days, I've got video after video of the state flying over my head, hovering in plane and helicopter. Yeah, that's the pattern of conduct. It's 10:12 a.m. And let me show you what is the state's fake sun over the library now. While group stalkers maintain presence at the bike racks, because that's all they're doing, maintaining presence. It's 10:12 a.m. and ongoing terrorism underway by the demon-possessed stalkers incorporating this business or this state facility venue that is the Upland Public Library. where the state's fake sun is over the library now, and it has documented at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and documented remaining over my head as I exit at 5:55 p.m., 6 p.m. in perfect alignment with me, all right? In a perfect alignment with that same street that I was just on, First Avenue, okay? It's 10:12 a.m., that's P.O.C. All right, I did just capture documentation of the state in real time moving its fake sun, which you witnessed as I walk from one end of the library to the other. So I'm capturing what is directed light on the floors of the second floor, on the level of the second floor, the directed light that is on the second level inside of the library as I'm standing. And not only that, it rapidly increases because there was just one little speck of directed light. I walked toward the elevator and then I walked back because I decided to get video of it, and more directed light rapidly appears, okay? And not only that, this is clearly directed light. I'm speaking to what is the real-time manipulation of that environment, and this is the practicing of terrorism by the demon possessed. And understand that it's speaking to every person that's around you. This is ongoing terrorism as I'm documenting it. So this is directed light on the floor, and then I aim my phone upward. You're going to want to see this in video. This is very compelling evidence. You have what is 10:17 a.m. I've already been inside of the same exact venue, let alone the fact that this is not over the Ontario Open Family Community Library. This is not over, first of all, the Target where I was, or the IHOP in the city of Ontario off of Ontario Mills Parkway. State's fake sun is over this venue. Remember, when I'm deviating from that ongoing documentation up Euclid Avenue and up Hope Boulevard, even when I go to Fontana, the state's fake sun is directly over the car while directly over me in this parking lot. You're remembering all of this, okay? And then you're seeing what the state is going to do on a daily basis based on where I go. You have what is the presence of the directed light. As I aim my camera right up ahead of me, you see the fake sun through the ceiling, these little windows through the ceiling, which the state is aiming to direct the light through this building in that regard all day long, up until after 4 p.m. Okay, and it remains visible in alignment to this building as I am inside of it up until 6 p.m. as I exit, all right, in direct conflict with everything that I'm documenting on that little strip of street, which is at C Street and Lemon, the Ontario Open Family Community Library, okay? You have what is the state's fake sun that is directly over my head as I'm aiming it up on the second level, and then as I walk to the opposite end of the library, which is necessary movement, to the end where I have already, to the opposite side of the building, where I have already documented at 10:15, which I showed you in video this morning, what the state is doing at 10:15, where I've also documented at the entrance side of the library at 10:15, and the state's fake sun is all over the place, meaning on all opposite sides. If it was actually on the side where I'm capturing it facing D Street and First Avenue, I would not be able to capture it over my head while I'm inside, standing at the staircase where it is the state is aiming directed light, and where it is clearly captured over my head. That is necessary movement, and that's what you're also able to see it literally as you're seeing from where I stood and where I walked to, and you're looking at what is necessary movement. I would not be able to capture both of those. All right. So you're talking about movement in real time, just like I showed from the Ontario Public Health Clinics all the way up to the library, but in the vehicle, real time movement, and from the Ontario Public Health Clinics to the 7-Eleven at 204 North Euclid Avenue. That's exactly what the state is doing at this venue. Okay. And that is the ongoing terrorism inside of the state facilitating venue. Not only is the state stalking with light, understand the people are stalking with light. When they are flashing their lights at exit time, at closing time, that is form for P.O.C. or creating light activity. The state's fake sun is over your venue. You do not have any form. Any meeting that you're holding inside of this venue is called relevant positioning. You are engaging also in the demonic behavioral pattern of stalking with noise, with real-time awareness of what I'm doing on the internet. These are the demons, and they're focusing on their use of technology as federal stalking is underway. This is the practicing of terrorism, and I'm showing you that environment that is being maintained inside of this venue, a state facilitating venue. All right, where law enforcement, the fire department, American medical response, where the people of the state are pacing around inside and outside and around this venue, and that is why that unnatural environment is present. And this is ongoing terrorism, as I've already documented, and I continue to document. That is P.O.C. It's 10:23 a.m.
All right, it is 2:07 p.m. I have substantial documentation that I am publishing, and pursuant to that, I captured yet another video after 1 p.m. This is approaching the 2 o'clock hour, and the state's fake sun over the same roof of the building in conjunction with the directed light, which is not in conformity to the state's placement of the light source over the venue, where the actual sun were actually present above the building, The sun is not adjacent to structures. It's over all of us. It is not a low-hanging, hovering light source like the state's light source that is remaining over this address of 450 North Euclid Avenue. You have what is the directed light. Okay, that's the trademark of the state. That is what you're looking at diagonally in front of that window where, by the way, I go and return the Chromebook. I go and get the pass. I have to go there, so they're keeping light in the path. I'm also taking pictures of what is group stalkers that are entering inside of the venue to engage in federal stalking. These are the demons that are acting collectively. That is all that they are doing while they are here. That's why the fake sun is over the venue. As I capture, it remains over me, and it's remaining over this address as I captured in that video, and what I'm documenting in images so you can see what group stalking looks like and what is demonic activity, which is terrorism. All right, demons engaging in the ongoing creation of just clamor and doing it to the rhythm, the ongoing knowledge of what you are doing on the internet. That's what they're doing. Okay, this is absolutely demented group conduct, and this is documentation of what is terrorism as demons are filling this venue to engage in that criminal system of federal stalking on the venue of the internet, where they are all monitoring with communication devices, and this is facilitation of that criminal activity amongst the demon possessed at the facilitating venue of the Upland Public Library, located at 450 North Euclid Avenue. And so what I'm taking pictures of at 2:07 p.m., you're looking at what is the demon-possessed stalking over here at the book stacks in relevant position to me. And I'm also taking pictures of what is directed light behind that same staircase that I captured it this morning, where I'm looking at the state's fake sun right over my head behind that staircase on the first level. All right, so you're looking at the environment around, and the demonic activity that they are engaging in is the slamming, making the creation of noise. All right, and what are they doing? Slamming books. This is what it sounds like while they're in relevant position, and they're doing so as I log onto the internet, as I open up my Samsung browser. All right, and they are aware of what I'm doing in real time. That's what the demons are doing, and they are engaging in that central focus on the use of technology, monitoring on the internet. This is that demonic activity underway. And that's what I'm taking images of, and I'm just speaking to that ongoing documentation. And both the employees and those who are entering, remaining present inside, and just venturing through, creating noise and going out. This is a criminal establishment where terrorism is underway by the psychopaths that are the demon possessed. Okay, and be clear, all of them are speaking as one. Where Tracy Banks is documented engaging in the creation of audible activity, engaging in what is the harassment out of her mouth. She's speaking on behalf of all of these demons that I am constantly and consistently and systematically documenting. Okay, so I just want to be clear: none of it is separate. It is all the same criminal act, and I'm documenting that. And this is the demented conduct that they engage in with those who are under the age of 18. So with regard to demonic possession, like I said, that has nothing to do with any age of majority. I'm revealing what is demonic activity amongst the people and opening your mind. This has nothing to do with your age. Now, as far as prosecuting an entity that is engaging in this demented group conduct, that is called terrorism, while they engage in the criminal elements of monitoring and the demonic methods that they employ. This is the practicing of terrorism. It is intended and designed to terrorize an American citizen, as well as to strike fear, while that environment is maintained, while they are maintaining environment as well, while they are creating all manner of substantial noise, disturbance, right? In doing so, while they're engaging in a criminal purpose together collectively, that is terrorism by the demon possessed, all of them engaging in that identical behavioral pattern while they do so. Okay, and there is absolutely no form. I literally am capturing the remaining presence of this light source and the directed light in the venue while they are engaging in that ongoing demonic behavior of the maintenance of just clamor, just noise. And that is characteristic of demons if you think about it. These are psychopaths that are surrounding, and this is documentation of that psychopathic pattern of conduct. It's 2:11 p.m. and that's P.O.C.
This is called patrolling. While they drive in this direction back and forth on G Street, that is north and south, the state aiming directed light inside of the vehicle, that's license plate, touching while crossing path and stalking with activity 5BYJ743 P.O.C. And let's get this one, 8LDP747. All right, license plate 8NAW854 7GUZ123 7JYE564 6YOX838. It is 8:38 p.m.
7VBB 265, 7LCE 172.